it's time to talk about Ahsoka. First off, if you haven't watched the Star Wars series Rebels on Disney Plus, you probably should watch it now, since Ahsoka really is the continuation of that story after Luke and the Rebellion take down Emperor Palpatine. Rebels is a new style animation, which may put some people off, but honestly, it's really, really good. However, I urge you to give it a try. It is a fantastic series, very exciting, very smartly told, and lots of engaging stories. I love that Ahsoka is continuing that story arc, but I think Disney's biggest error with the series is not preparing people properly for the story that is being told in Ahsoka. You don't have to watch Rebels first, but Ahsoka will make so much more sense. It'll be so much more compelling if you have seen the Rebels series already. If you want the cliff notes, I'll add a review of the series that I did at the end of this video, so you can just link to it at the end. And while you're here, be sure to hit subscribe for more videos so that you get that. Okay, so here we are. We're now at episode 4 into Ahsoka, and it's getting much more interesting. From episodes 1 to 4, we get a whole host of things, from great lightsaber battles to exciting space fights and villains who almost make you want to root for them. And I can honestly say that while I'm really enjoying the series, it's not as smooth as I would have liked. Episode 4 was the best one yet, but it still feels like half a drink of water on a hot day. I mean, every episode so far leaves you feeling somehow incomplete or unsatisfied. And that's not to say that the episodes aren't good. They are. They're just weak portions of a delicious meal. As a result, the week-to-week viewing of the series is going to make it suffer in the eyes of the audience. The way the story is structured and designed for the first half of the series is a much better fit for binge viewing, because you will get the through lines and the payoffs in quick succession. And as a result, you'll have greater audience satisfaction. So if you haven't seen the series yet, you might just start now and you'll get to binge watch the first 4 episodes. And it'll be so much better. And, I just want to give you an alert here. As I get further into this review, I will be doing spoilers. So it's kind of hard not to talk about some of the things we need to talk about without doing some spoilers. So spoiler alert, spoiler reminder. So I love everything that Dave Filoni is doing with this series content-wise, but I don't understand how he's pacing the story beats and the conflict payoffs. It kind of feels like a stutter run, because as soon as an episode starts to stand up, it's already over. And then we're all just kind of sitting around wondering what happened? Where did it go? So episode 3 gets us to the hyperdrive ring and to the witch's temple. Ahsoka also begins training Sabine with a lightsaber, which includes an awkward moment in the story with the helmet's blast shield. And it really does create the worst moment, because it's just so obviously wrong. And people are keying in on that, and then they get a little too hyper focused on it. But here's where the problems are. 1, she lived on board the Ghost for years with 2 Jedi. And she was there when Kanan was training Ezra. She saw him go through the same thing. Why complain about the blast shield? She knows why it's down. 2, and this is the big one. This is the one that, I don't know, it really kills me that it's in there. At the end of Rebels, she left the Ghost and went off with Ahsoka to be her Padawan. And even if you don't know that bit, you know that she went off with Ahsoka at some point to be her Padawan, and lightsaber training is part of that. She already started training with the lightsaber. She would have already used the helmet with the blast shield down. So she knows what it's for, and it doesn't make any sense for her to say something. While that was a minor moment, it was a major moment of annoyance for me as a longtime fan. It's a sign that either they are forcing the characters to say and do things that help new fans along, or the writers, Dave Filoni and George Lucas, are unfamiliar with the past stories in the Star Wars universe. Which, yeah, it's kind of like saying that a fish is unfamiliar with water. Anyway, episode 3 has some great battle scenes in space. Lots of exciting action with some great one-liners. One of the best one-liners is from Shin Hati after Morgan calls her off of pursuing Ahsoka's ship. I mean, that girl, she just doesn't hold back. And I really respect that in a villain. I really, really like her. You know, and so we get Ahsoka and team. They have a badly damaged ship and they do an emergency landing on the planet. So that's pretty much the episode. There's a battle and then they land on a planet, and it's super short. It's super tight, but it's too short. It's over before it starts. And that is just aggravating because I loved everything about the episode and was literally startled when the credits started to roll. Then we have episode 4. It was longer, and there were some really nice scenes of getting the ship back up and running, along with Ahsoka and Sabine having a heart-to-heart moment about destroying the map if they couldn't take it away from Morgan. Sabine agrees reluctantly, but we do get the sense that she means it, even though it would mean they would lose Ezra forever. I honestly thought that was the whole point of Sabine watching the message from Ezra in episode 1 about a Jedi needing to make the hard choices and having to do what others can't. You know, I felt like that scene was talking to this scene when Sabine was tasked with that choice of destroy the map, don't destroy the map, destroy the map, don't destroy the map. And honestly, I do think Ezra would have blown the map up. That was the whole point of what he did at the end of Rebels. Sabine's choice almost doesn't make sense until you consider that she just watched Ahsoka die. On top of losing her family and everyone else she loved and cared for during the war, she just saw Skoll kill Ahsoka. So making her promise to Ahsoka was real in that moment. But the moment Ahsoka died, it was null and void. And Sabine reordered everything. She saw a new set of priorities and a new strategy kind of unfold in front of her. You really do get the sense of her thinking in that moment, like, what should she do? What does it all mean? And how is she going to live with that choice? Plus, it's really clear that she knows if she destroys the map, she's dead as soon as it's gone. And she really has no idea how much of the map Morgan has decoded. To Sabine's knowledge, there was nobody who could stop Skoll and Shin and Morgan at that point, unless she could find Ezra. So she gave Skoll the map and accepted his pledge of protection because he would take her with him. That was a clever twist in the story. It's one that you have to really think through before you fully understand what transpired in that moment, because there was a lot of complexity happening in the story in that exchange. But that also serves as a contrast to the stupid things like the blast shield on the helmet. Why do you have Sabine act so clueless there and then have her make massively complex and intelligent choices like this regarding the map? I understand the need to help new fans along, but really, this lack of consistency is disturbing in the Force. I, for one, thought we would see Ahsoka hanging from the cliff. I was pleasantly surprised to see her back on the path that she and Ezra used in Rebels. However, anyone who didn't watch that series would be massively confused right now. And as for seeing the ghosts of past Jedi Masters, those roles do seem to be a little, well, unstable or a little fuzzy unless you chalk it up to the living person's need in the moment or their openness at the time. This case with Ahsoka, she is literally on the path between life and death. And so, of course, she can see Anakin, and wow, what a great surprise that was at the end of the episode. I have so much more to say. I just love the way the episode ended, but again, I do wish it was longer, but I think in this case, that's just me really loving the story and wanting it to continue just a bit more. This episode, I thought, did a really good job. It finally got into a lot of the action that fans were looking for, and it got into the content that would propel us into the second half of the series. And I think episode 5, they are really going to turn up some of the action, which I can't wait for. So for Ahsoka, given all my complaints here, I don't want to make it feel like I didn't enjoy the episode or the series. I am really enjoying this series. I think it's fantastic. And I really believe that once the whole thing is finished, it's going to be a bingeable delight. It is going to be even better when you can watch it all in one big long sit through. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Next week will be a new review just on episode 5. So be sure to subscribe for more videos, and may the force be with you. Bye, everybody.